Why are there two different types of Muslims? There are over 2 billion Muslims, but they've been split into Sunni and Shia for over 1400 years. This divide has shaped the Muslim world, and it began because one question was never answered.
This is the most ridiculous Sunni cope I have ever seen.
In the year 632, the Prophet Muhammad passed in Medina. He'd spent 2 decades uniting Arab tribes under Islam, created a community that stretched across the peninsula. His word had been final on everything: faith, law, politics. But now that voice was silent. Thousands of followers faced one question: who speaks for Islam now? One unresolved question about succession shaped centuries of Islamic history.
Do people genuinely believe that the Holy Prophet ﷺ left the successorship to himself unanswered? Like, really? God sent 124,000 prophets and 123,999 prophets nominated and appointed their successor by name publicly, yet the final messenger, after whom there will be no more prophets, apparently left the question unanswered. So he failed in guidance. The question of successorship to the Holy Prophet ﷺ was never left unanswered. In fact, our Prophet announced his successor multiple times, right? So let's go all the way back to day one of public Islam. Yes, we look at the Holy Quran in chapter 26, verse 214, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَأَنذِرْ أَشِيرَتَكَ الْأَقْرَبِينَ, and warn your closest relatives. Here's the verse. We're going to look at 5 Sunni commentaries of the Holy Quran to prove to you that when this verse was revealed, the Prophet publicly, amongst his relatives, announced Imam Ali as his immediate successor. We start by looking at Tafsir Kashf al-Bayan, which is by a Sunni Mufassir by the name of Thalabi. He says, as you can see here, he says, when this verse was revealed, the Prophet ﷺ invited his family to Islam, and he said, who will be my brother, support me, be my guardian and successor after me? The Prophet is saying, who amongst you will support me? He will be my successor. Imam Ali says, Ya Rasulullah, I'll support you. Then what happened? The people stood up and said to Abu Talib, who was the father of Imam Ali, you have to obey your son, for he has been appointed over you. So this shows you the Prophet was speaking about successorship and obedience, otherwise they never would have mocked Abu Talib and said this. Second tafsir we're going to look at is Tafsir Tabari, underneath chapter 26 verse 214. It says that the Holy Prophet said, which of you will support me in this matter, so that he will be my brother, my executor, and my khalif among you. The Prophet said, An yakuna akhi wa wasi wa khalifatikum. And then Imam Ali stood up and said, I will. So the Prophet then said to Imam Ali, indeed, this is my brother, my successor, and my khalif among you, so listen to him and obey him. That's the second Sunni source. The third one here, it says the same thing. The Prophet said, Ali is my successor. Tafsir Ibn Abi Hatim, here you go, it says the exact same thing. Ali is my successor. And fifth one, Jalaluddin al-Suyuti in Tafsir Durr al-Mansur, under 26-214. He gives references of the same incident and says the Prophet said to Imam Ali, Anta akhi wa wasi wa warithihi wa khalifatihi min ba'di. So already here, the Prophet, from 5 Sunni sources I've just shown you, he's elected Imam Ali as a successor. And also, let me ask you a question. Where was Abu Bakr and Umar and Uthman during this incident? They were mushrikeen. They weren't even Muslims yet. So the people who you believe were the successors of the Prophet were not even Muslims, worshipping idols. And the Prophet had already elected and appointed Imam Ali alayhi publicly as his successor. So what do you mean he left the question unanswered? Don't lie upon the Prophet.